More bad news for Putin as a two-front crisis is forming around Russia's oil sector. Ukrainian drones are striking deeper into its oil network, while new U.S. sanctions are causing India and China to back away from purchasing Russian crude. Prices are plunging, tankers are backing up, and Moscow's revenues are cratering. I'll have the details. We're starting off with an issue we followed closely on the PDB, and the latest developments point to mounting trouble for the Kremlin. Moscow's energy sector, the financial backbone of its war effort, continues to get battered on two fronts. It's being pummeled both by Ukrainian drones and missiles and by the new round of U.S. sanctions. Let's start with the battlefield. In a nighttime attack, Ukraine struck one of Moscow's most important oil refineries located in the Samara region. It's one of the 10 largest refineries in Russia and produces an estimated 8.8 million metric tons of oil every year. That includes gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. The strike was carried out with Ukraine's new jet-propelled BARS drones, which have the range to reach nearly 900 miles inside Russian territory. The Ukrainian General Staff released video showing the attack's aftermath, marking the sixth time that this refinery has been struck since the war began. The previous attack last month reportedly forced a temporary shutdown. And the refinery wasn't the only target. Ukraine also hit a storage site used by Russia's elite Rubicon drone unit, the force that's been conducting long-range strikes on Ukrainian cities and helping Russia retake territory earlier this year. Moscow claims that it did intercept 23 drones, but the video released by Ukraine tells a different story. Either way, it's another reminder that Ukraine continues to reach deep into Russia to hit assets that directly support the war. So that's the first front, the physical damage. But the second front is ultimately just as painful for the Kremlin. That's the new U.S. sanctions, and the impact is growing. The new sanctions are set to take effect on Friday, at which point all transactions involving Russia's two largest oil producers, Rosneft and Lukoil, must be wound down. India and China, the two biggest customers keeping Moscow's oil exports alive, well, they've taken notice, and it appears that they're already reducing their purchases. According to new reporting from Bloomberg, major Indian refiners like Reliance Industries, Bharat Petroleum, and Hindustan Petroleum have halted direct purchases from Rosneft and Lukoil. Chinese refiners, including Sinopec and PetroChina, have done the same. That buyer strike, as analysts are calling it, has disrupted nearly half of Russia's oil exports to China. The result has been devastating for Russia, a collapse in the price of Russia's flagship Urals crude. At the end of last week, it fell to just over $36 a barrel. That's one of the steepest discounts in more than a year. In normal times, it trades at a $12 discount to Brent, but that gap has now nearly doubled and is approaching the record lows that were seen in early 2023. And with fewer buyers, Russia is running out of places to put the oil. As we've reported, J.P. Morgan estimates that roughly one-third of Russia's seaborne exports, about 1.4 million barrels a day, are now sitting on tankers being used as floating storage, while sellers hunt for customers willing to take the risk. Meanwhile, revenues have slipped to around $1.2 billion a week, and that's a 2.5-year low. Adding to the pressure, satellite trackers have noticed more Russian tankers switching off their transponders near known clandestine transfer zones. That suggests that Moscow is being pushed deeper into the shadows in an effort to keep its oil moving. So, you ask, what does all this mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. Primarily two things. First, Russia's war machine is under real financial strain. Hydrocarbons aren't just one part of the Russian economy. They're basically the whole thing. And when India and China step back, even temporarily, the Kremlin feels it immediately. Lower prices mean lower revenues, and lower revenues mean fewer resources to sustain Putin's war. Second, Ukraine's long-range strikes are taking a major toll. They're chipping away at Russia's refining capacity and forcing Moscow to divert air defenses to protect facilities that they never expected to be in the line of fire. All right, coming up next, Germany plans to restore arms exports to Israel after months of restrictions. I'll be right back. Hey, Mike Baker here with a question for all the dudes out there. Look, have you ever felt, awkward picking up a prescription for something personal? Maybe wishing the pharmacist there would maybe lower their voice? Maybe you were wishing there was a more discreet option. Well, there's good news. There is a better, more discreet way to fill that prescription that you may be thinking about, right? Meet Rougiette Ready. Now, it's a next-gen ED treatment that's made right here in the USA. It's the first to target both brain and body, boosting arousal and blood flow in just 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes, come on. With effects lasting up to, get this, 36 hours. Come on. Rougiette Ready is a fast-acting, dissolvable tablet formulated with clinically proven medications for ED. Now, getting Rougiette is easy, and that's important, right? Answer a few questions online, get reviewed by a doctor within 24 to 48 hours, and receive discreet delivery. No insurance, no pharmacy lines, no embarrassment, just fast, effective results that you can count on. So, ready to give Rougiette a try? Well, get 15% off your first order by going to rougiette.com/PDB and using the code PDB. Or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this offer.
Verge prescriptions are compounded medications, available only if prescribed after an online consultation with a licensed clinician. Compounded drugs can be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and have not been reviewed by the FDA for safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing. Individual results may vary. Full safety information is available at rougiette.com.
Hey, Mike Baker here with an important message from our friends over at Stopbox. Now, if you own a handgun for protection, you know the dilemma that I'm talking about. Lock it up safe or keep it accessible. Now, the key, of course, is to be able to do both at the same time, meaning safely accessible. And that's why I'm very happy to tell you about Stopbox Pro. Look, it's a game changer for a quick, secure access. There's no keys to fumble, there's no batteries to fail, just a mechanical push-button system that opens in seconds with one hand. With Stopbox Pro, you can keep your protection close at hand, yet safely stowed for total peace of mind. Plus, it's built like a tank, all USA made. With holidays approaching, it's the perfect gift for anyone serious about safety, and we should all be serious about safety. It's TSA compliant for travel, too, and they also have vehicle safes and chamber locks. For a limited time only, our PDB listeners are getting a terrific deal. Not only do you get 10% off your entire order when you use code PDB10 at StopBoxUSA.com, but they're also giving you a buy one, get one free. So you get their Stopbox Pro for free when you buy one. That's 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use code PDB10 at StopBoxUSA.com. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. 3 months after halting sales, Germany is preparing to lift its arms export pause to Israel, convinced that the steadier conditions since the October Israel-Hamas ceasefire gives Berlin room to uphold its long-standing commitments. As an aside, Germany is second only to the U.S. when it comes to Israel's defense needs, supplying some 30% of its major arms imports from 2019 to 2023. Now, you may remember back in August when Germany ordered a halt on sending arms to the Jewish state when Chancellor Friedrich Merz bowed to domestic pressure and paused exports amid accusations that Israel's ground offensive in Gaza essentially amounted to war crimes. What started as a defined stop on equipment that, quote, clearly was usable in Gaza, well, that quickly took on a life of its own. Approvals dried up, licenses stalled, and for more than a month, Berlin didn't greenlight a single export. And even after that freeze quietly loosened, the broader pause remained in place for months. To officials in Berlin, it was a necessary cooling-off period at the height of the war. But inside Germany's political establishment, it was also a move that strained long-standing commitments and opened a debate over how far the government could go in distancing itself from Israel. Government spokesman Stefan Cornelius said yesterday that those limits will no longer apply, pointing to the Trump administration's 20-point peace plan, which he said has, quote, stabilized in recent weeks. Berlin argues the conditions that triggered the pause have meaningfully shifted, and that renewed cooperation fits its strategic obligations. The pause has been presented as a tightly scoped measure, but German officials now acknowledge it functioned far more broadly, effectively stopping every export request cold, far beyond what Berlin originally had signaled. Now, with the freeze soon lifting on the 24th of November, Berlin will return to case-by-case reviews, a shift that Cornelius said reflects peaceful progress in the Strip and Germany's continued diplomatic engagement. For Berlin, the decision also marks the return to a principle that has guided its foreign policy for decades: Support for Israel has long been anchored in the country's commitment to Israel, shaped by the legacy, of course, of World War II and the Holocaust. As a result of the pause, Merz faced heavy criticism from within his own conservative bloc for the August suspension. That was a step, he said, was tied to Jerusalem's planned expansion of operations in Gaza at the time. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar welcomed Berlin's reversal, posting on X, quote, "I call on other governments to adopt similar decisions following Germany." Berlin's foreign minister, whose ministry helped shape this shift, called the move, quote, "responsible and correct." And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Tuesday, the 18th of November. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And to listen to the show ad-free, you can do that, and you can do that very simply. Just become a premium member of the President's Daily Brief by visiting pdbpremium.com. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool. Hey, Mike Baker here. Now, you've probably asked yourself this question, right? You've probably said, hey, self, do doctors have Black Friday sales? Because Black Friday is right around the corner. Well, the answer is the doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition, they do. They just announced their Black Friday 30% off sale. It's the biggest sale of the year. The most impressive health and nutrition products in the industry are now 30% off. For example, Lean, that's right, Lean, L-E-A-N, is on sale. It's the doctor-formulated weight loss supplement for people who want to lose meaningful weight without injections. And also, you can get 30% off creatine. Now, that's creatine designed just for women to help you look leaner, in shape, and toned without extra dieting or exercise. You can even get 30% off Field of Greens. This stuff is terrific. It's the only superfruit and vegetable drink shown in a university study to actually slow aging. And only Field of Greens promises better health results your doctor will notice. Every Brickhouse product, from better sleep to superior collagen, is 30% off. But hurry, because these Black Friday deals, well, they do go fast. Visit BrickHouseSale.com and save 30%. Again, BrickHouseSale.com. One more time? Okay, BrickHouseSale.com. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.